we are gonna put a little dabble of solder right here. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Freedom One Garage is where you landed. Good morning. It's an overcast day. Nice though, like 65 degrees. We are on the Buick Special 1958. If y'all haven't seen the previous videos, go back and watch them. I'll put links as we go along here, but we've done a couple things. We fixed the speedometer that had gotten stuck, and we went through kind of the cluster, cleaned it all up, shined up the lens and stuff. But while we were doing that, we noticed that we don't have any panel lights. These old style, the little white wires in there, each one of those goes to a bulb and that illuminates your panel. And if you're familiar or not, the old GM style light switch, this is a little bit of a different style in this old Buick, but it's right down there, and there's a little circular rheostat, looks like a spring, and you twist the knob in order to dim and brighten your lights. Well, we don't have anything, so we did a little bit of preliminary checking on the switch and got a hold of the customer, and the customer says, yeah, go ahead and try and get those lights fixed. So it's gonna be hard to show you, but this is again similar to what the push-pull switches of the 70s and 80s GM cars, but down there right next to, right in here, there's a little spring-loaded button. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull the knob out so the lights are in the on position, and then push that little spring-loaded knob, and then the pull right there, that guy should pull all the way out, and then there's a nut, and then we can get the switch out the back side of the dash. But we're going to do this now because, you know, we've got this big dash panel here is out. Otherwise it'd be really hard to get to. So the smart thing is to do it here. We're going to disconnect the battery first because not all these circuits are protected in these old cars, and that big red wire right there is live. That's power going to all the lights. So we'll disconnect the battery. I'll go ahead and get the pole out, and then I'll show you the nut and how we get the rest of that switch out. Yeah, that's how long the pull knob is on this thing, and that's why your standard replacement switch, GM style switch, won't work in these jobs. So we did that, and then down in here behind that you see that slotted screw that goes into the front of the switch. And a while back I took an old gasket scraper and flattened it out, because you need a nice big flat kind of blade screwdriver to get to some of these switches like this, and that's my special tool for doing that there. Now the switch is dropped down, and we should be able to just kind of pull it up through here and get it out. I'll get it out of there, and we'll see you over on the bench. Okay, on the bench we are, and we went ahead and reinserted our pull knob, and then here's our connections. Now so you guys and gals that are familiar with the newer style GM, it's very similar. I mean, this is where it all started, but also very different. So before we go try and cobble in some sort of 6-post switch, let's take a closer look at this one and see if we can get the factory model to work. This is a Delco Remy, appears to be the original switch. So here you have PL, stands for panel lights. You got battery connection. FD should be like field, but nah, somebody say what FD is for. But anyway, it's connected to battery. So here's where voltage comes in, and then you have headlights is H, taillights is T, and you got PK down here, park lights. Because remember, on these older 50s, we're talking 50s stuff here, the park lights do not stay on with the headlights. So you pull it out to your first notch, and you get panel lights. You should have panel lamps, tail lamps, and park lamps. pull it out to your second latch, and you should have panel lamps, headlights, and tail lights, but you won't have park lights. So how does this work? Well, we can see here, where's my poker? Here, we can use this one. I've checked for voltage. Here's our rheostat. So this is the thing that is big, kind of springy thing here. So it starts here, goes all the way around, and then that's full bright. And it gets power here. And I've checked power in the car here. And then this little probe that slides, that connects to that, also had power. And that comes back and it's tied into the tail lamp circuit. So at first notch and second notch of the switch, the headlamps and the park lights aren't on at the same time, but tail lights are. So that's why your panel lights are tied into the taillight circuit through this little bar here. So we know we've got power to there, and we're losing it somewhere before it comes out here. So we're going to put a lead on there, and we're going to put a lead on what should be our outlet for our panel lights. Okay, we're going to connect that red wire to power in our little jumper box. And then we're going to probe this other end with our test light. See if we can get anything. And we aren't getting anything. Now again, if we go, we'll rotate it this way so you guys can see. If we go here, oh, I don't have it on. There we go. We go here, we got power. We go here, no power. And it doesn't change if we, golly, I'm gonna have to get something. I can't, hang on. There, now you can see. Now, if we rotate this, we don't see any change in this test light at all. So we're losing power somewhere in around this rheostat. So let's go now, and we'll start probing a little bit. We don't have it there. We have power here. We have power here, 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 all the way through our rheostat. We lose it. Unfortunately, on the last coil, it looks like. Okay, we've gotten to the point where we've got power in this last coil, but we don't have power at the nubbin here. And that's where we want our outlet to be. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to emery cloth both sides of the coil and the nubbins and see what that does for us. Okay, the light might be kind of bright. The sun's shining in my little window on the workbench here, but cleaned this up with emery cloth, went around the coils best I could, and then both of the nubbins and the nubbin on the dial that spins here on the rheostat, cleaned all that up, got a lot of gunk off of those. And then we went in and found some WD-40 electrical parts cleaner. So we hit it with that, blew it all out. Now let's go ahead and pull. We're going to put that in the off, pull that on, We're watching our test light here. Now we've got light all through the swing. By the way, if you want the exact Buick switch, pretty much not findable-ish. I saw one on the eBays, a new old stock one, $240. So we've got about less than that by a ways into cleaning this up. Let's go plug it in the car and see what it does. Now you may think this looks like it's the same brightness throughout, but remember, this is just one little bulb in the test light. Once we hook this up to a circuit with a few bulbs in it, it's going to make a difference. All right, we're pretty happy with that. We're going to hit a couple of these spots with some dielectric grease just to keep the corrosion away, and then we're going to go plug it back in the car and we'll check. Now we got to check all of our dash light bulbs, make sure they're all good, because we don't want to, you know, go to the trouble of fixing that circuit and then give the customer back their car with, you know, one or two or more light bulbs not working. Well, that didn't quite do it. I would have showed you guys, but you know, it was kind of it was about a half fail. We had power and dash lights, but only on the full bright setting. We're still losing connection between the rheostat coil and this nubbin for full power. It looks like it's under there, but there's probably either a small break or it's gotten corroded or something. So what we're gonna do now is we are gonna put a little dabble of solder right here to better link the end of that coil to the nubbin, and that should do the trick. All right, so we're a little globby with it, but we've got our solder on there, and now we've got contact all through our coil. We're gonna go throw this in there again, but yeah, we were able to kind of, this is a little bit of glob on top of our nubbin that was already there, but then we were also able to pull it over and get it to that wire for the rheostat. So I think we're in good shape there. Let's go throw it back in the car again and see what we got. All right, we're back in. It's going to be, the sun is coming through the door behind us, the overhead door, so it's going to be a little hard to see. Watch this bulb down here, but you should be able to kind of see. We should have now some dash lights. Let's go one notch out. Oh yeah, I can see them already. Can you see that? Yeah, over there. And then we'll see, do we turn that? Oh yeah, look at that. And then full bright. And then we can dim them back down. Off. Very cool. All right, saving customers money and restoring new old stock parts. Life is pretty darn good. We're gonna check all these bulbs now, and then we're finally gonna get this dash back together